This from Dawg Pound Daily. 5 Browns players to watch week 1. We're going to start number 5, Jordan Elliott, and that one intrigues me. I thought he flashed a little bit in the preseason. They really need one of those defensive tackles to kind of take a hold and ascend and really become the guy in the middle of that defense, I think. What are your thoughts about Elliott?
Yeah, I thought he looked good. Surprisingly, I thought Taven Bryan looked pretty good too. Together, at least they were getting some movement up there, right? And that's all you really want them to do is clog things up and let your JOKs and your edges, come in and make tackles. But if they can just kind of clog up those holes and disrupt, then they'll do their job up there. And this is going to be kind of as we talked about all off season. I think they'll approach this position by committee for the most part. And I think we'll see a lot of rotations in there, but I think that Jordan Elliott is the best 8 we've got going. And I think he proved that in the preseason.
All right, we're going to take a look at 3 offensive players here. So number 4, David Njoku, tight end. And, the Browns really do need him to be a factor. And they paid him like a number 1 tight end. They expect him to be a number 1 tight end. Let's see how that goes. Number 3 is the quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. You could put him, at the top of this list for all intents and purposes. Number 2 is Kareem Hunt. And again, when healthy, has been a red zone threat. So you look at Njoku, Brissett, and Hunt. Let's talk about those 3 and what the Browns need from them, especially week 1.
I think you need a lot from Njoku, right? Like, I think that this is, you gave him the big contract. You're going to have to go to him with volume. And the interesting thing in talking to John Ellis, the guy that covers the Panthers on my show, he thinks that they will use J.C. Horn down in the box on Njoku when he's in the game. So that's an interesting matchup to watch. And see if they actually do that, because that'll be really intriguing. J.C. Horn is a more physical corner, and they're going to try to kind of match up with Njoku's athleticism with J.C. Horn. So I look for that matchup to be very intriguing on Sunday. Obviously, Brissett has to be good. He has to be mistake-free. And the thing about this is like, I think Stefanski can outcoach Matt Rule schematically. So when the throws are there and there are guys open, you can't miss those opportunities. So it's not about being a great quarterback. It's about just taking advantage when there's guys wide open and hitting those passes. And those are the explosives that you're going to need. And you're going to have to hit them when they're there. Like, they're not going to be there all game. But when he schemes something open, as we watched Baker miss guys open a lot last year, probably something mental or with his shoulder, I think that you want to see Brissett put the ball on the money in those situations. So be opportunistic is kind of my thought there with Brissett.
And Hunt is a guy, when healthy, he's a red zone threat just because he's very multiple. There's a lot he can do.
Yeah, I think they'll use him a lot out of the backfield with this wide receiver room being kind of not what we want it to be. I think you use Hunt as a weapon out of the backfield. So, and I wouldn't be surprised that, if we see a little bit more Hunt and Chubb on the field at the same time. You can do some misdirection, get Hunt the ball in some screen situations, catch them in a pressure, and maybe he breaks a big one. But I think that you absolutely have to use both of those guys. They're 2 of your best weapons. So find a way to make them a big part of what you're doing no matter what.
And the number 1 guy to watch in week 1, according to Dawg Pound Daily, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker. And again, the thought there is he is likely to draw covering Christian McCaffrey. I've said it all week. This Browns defense is more equipped than most to deal with a guy like Christian McCaffrey because they've got the speed at the linebacker position in Phillips and Owusu-Koramoah.
Yeah, I think that JOK is just so fun to watch, watching him in the preseason. And I think he's going to be exceptional. I think we saw him last year have a breakout year, but I think he's going to be so much fun to watch. So as a Browns fan, enjoy watching him because he just flies to the ball. He will do a great job with McCaffrey. It'll be interesting to see how McAdoo uses him, right? Like, it'll be really interesting to see how he uses him. So But I think that they're going to depend a lot on that speed, as you mentioned, and that linebacker on the second level to kind of keep him, just keep him under wraps. He's going to get his yards, but just don't let him hit the big one, right? And it's interesting. Last thought on this game here before, I think that Joe Woods, as we've seen in the past, will try to take away the big play, try to make the other team go on 10, 12, 14 play drives. And if you can do that with Baker Mayfield and potentially a very emotional and fired up Baker Mayfield, try to make him take the underneath stuff, the easy stuff. Can he be patient enough to do that over a 10 play, 12 play drive in this situation, in this game? Is he going to try to squeeze one in a tight window when maybe he has a check down that's there? I think that playing that game against Mayfield in this offense leans itself to potentially turning them over a couple times. So I think that you want to take away no big plays, make them work for it, make them go on long drives and try to turn it over 6.